My name is Michaela. I'm 30 years old, and when I was 17, I was involved in a serious car accident. Just to give you a brief overview of the car accident, we were coming home from family vacation. I was in the back seat of the car sleeping, and for whatever reason, I still today do this. I sleep with my hands over my head. So we were following a tractor trailer carrying farm equipment, and it was going very slow, and my mom had her four-way flashers on. We were going maybe 20 miles an hour up a steep hill, and a 16-year-old girl who had her license for a week and a half tried to pass us on a non-passing zone, and there was another car coming. She hit us at about 80 miles an hour when we were going 20. The tractor trailer in front of us didn't have a bumper, and so we went under the tractor trailer, and it drug us for about a football field. Since we were on our way back from vacation, we had luggage in the trunk, and the luggage went under the seat and pushed the seat up, and the roof came down, so we went up and cracked our heads off the roof. I had a severe closed head injury. My eyelid was torn out, like my eyebrow was up here. My arm went through the back windshield, my bicep was cut in half, and I was in a coma. I don't remember the accident, but I do remember the life flight when they were putting me on a helicopter to take me to the airport. I opened my eyes because I could feel the wind, but I thought it was dreaming, so I went back to sleep. And then I didn't wake up again for 7 days. They induced another coma because I was going crazy, and it was supposed to only be in the coma for maybe 24 to 48 hours, and I didn't wake up. I flatlined, and I ended up being in the coma for a total of about 14 days. When I was flatlined, I remember being surrounded by a white, fuzzy light, and I was being held. Someone was hugging me. I couldn't see that person, but I knew I was with God or my higher power. I felt very pleasant. I wasn't afraid. It was very comforting. Actually, it was probably the best feeling that I've ever felt in my life, in my death. I felt my best feeling. And I was just kind of so content there that I wanted to just go to that place. I wanted to be with that feeling. And just as I was about to go, you hear all the time people say, your life flashes before your eyes. Well, my life flashed before my eyes. It wasn't really what I expected. I didn't see actual people or physical things. It was more of the essence of everything, but it was very clear. I saw me with my grandchildren. I don't even have children yet. I saw me when I was younger doing things that I loved to do and playing and dancing and people I loved, and it was all about the love. It was all about the love. And I knew that if I went to that place, I would be okay, but I would never have this life again. And I loved this life, and I loved to live, so I started fighting and crying and praying, please God, don't make me die, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. And I fought and fought. And I remember colors flashing, like the white turned into red and green and blue, and it was flashing, and I fought harder than I ever had in my life. And then I felt all at once like I was being sucked through outer space. It was just like, so then I ended up in the corner of my hospital room, looking at my body and seeing all my family sitting around, upset. And I tried to tell them, for some reason I had special powers that I could move around in this form. So I would go over to my family and my boyfriend at the time, who was 16, and I would say, I'm okay, you know, and I'd try to comfort them, but they couldn't hear me, and I was so annoyed by that. And then I would get bored, and I would go in my body for a little while, and it would get too much. It would be too much pain, and so I would come back out I got pretty comfortable being in that form. I would say, now that I think back on it, I was probably in and out of my body for about a week and a half. I would go to different rooms. My parents didn't believe anything that I was saying until I woke up one night and I went into my mom's room and I said, "Mom, when I was in a coma upstairs, were you and Dad and Grandma down in the cafeteria, and Dad said this and you said this and Grandma stood up and this happened?" And my mom just looked at me in awe and was like, "How do you know that?" And I said, "I was there." And she couldn't believe I knew word for word exactly what happened. And I was like, I just remembered I was there, because things came back to me over time. And I mean, it's been 13 years, so I'm getting pretty comfortable with it at this point, but it took a while for me to really understand. After I was in the hospital for about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks maybe, and they told me that I could go home. And so I thought, or they told me I was leaving, actually, is what it was, and I thought I was going home. And then they put me on an ambulance, and my mom was on the ambulance with me, and my dad and my brother were driving behind, and I looked at my mom and I said, "Where am I going?" Because I just wanted to go home and sleep in my own bed and make my own toast and do everything myself, because I was sick of everybody doing everything for me. And she said, "We're going to a rehab center where you can learn how to walk and talk and think and do your hair and play games and take tests." I had to learn all of this stuff over again. And I looked at my mom, because up until that point, I would ask what happened and they would tell me, and then 5 seconds later I would ask again. It didn't sink in. I said, "I'm really bad, huh?" And she just started crying. She said, "Yeah, honey, you're really bad." And I said, I was comforting my mother. I said, "Don't worry, Mom. I'll get better soon." And so I went to the rehab center. I was supposed to be there for a month, but I ended up getting released early. I got released in like 2 weeks. And when I left the hospital, they thought that I wasn't going to walk ever again. They thought I was either going to die or be paralyzed for the rest of my life. And so I'm happy to say I'm here, and I love this life, and I'm glad I'm here sharing it all with you. And hopefully my story and all of our stories will help other people have a little bit of a happier life. Thank you.